Facebook live streaming here. We won't block you at all, right? That's good.
No. When you test, you haven't sent me the signal yet.
Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello, check. Hello. 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 Hello, check. Hello. Hello, check. Hello. Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello, check. Hello. 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 Hello, check. 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 Hello, check. Hello. Hello.
My sound okay. I check my level.
Hello, check. Hello. Hello, check. 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 Check.
Yeah. Some are taller, some are shorter. Yeah, so I just too far.
Now they also have to move them.
One short and
One need to shorter and one need to long.
no, because you put your eyes out, the camera like this. Pull out.
On, bro. Mine also on. Bro, basically, bro. Bro. Bro.
Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Lower.
Down.
Yeah. Yeah. Lower. This one. No. Leg. Yes, then your mic. Okay, best. Yes. Correct.
Bro, basically.
Hello, check. Hello. Hello.
Okay, best.
Bring the light forward.
Just give me a minute.
How the, because we want to start.
Okay, can bring him back. Left, right.
Okay. Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello, check. Check. Hello. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Okay. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello.
Bro, President.
Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Check. Hello. Check. Hello.
Check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Hey, check. Check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Betul Pak, ya betul ini. Waktu kamera. Dia swap Pak. Oh, itu Pak. Dia perlu ascending cam. You are butcher. Siapa betul gue?
Good evening, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me? Please come forward. Testing 1, 2, 3. Louder. Testing 1, 2, 3. You can come forward. There's plenty of space down here. All right? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to GMS People's Power Party second rally of the general election 2025. I'm still sleeping. All right. You may come forward. The view is not bad. Don't worry. It's very dry. Just a drizzling just now. So it's perfect weather for tonight. Right. Welcome to Chingshan, my hometown. This is actually my hometown. I remember the first election that I voted. I really voted as a citizen. It is in Chingshan, GRC. Back then, it is very hotly contested. Mr. J.B. Jaranam and Mr. Tan Liang Hong was standing right here, and the field was packed. And we actually have, they garnered about 45% of the votes back then. And you know what? Mr. Lee Yok Suan was the MP, was the representative of the Chingshan GRC. However, he got Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, all come to support him. Back then I was actually just retired from the RSC. I was from CCC, Chingshan CCC. I started the adventure club there. But I was so fed up because there's no funding, so I quit. But after I seen this, I wrote a letter to Mr. Lee Yok Suan. I told him, this is your own battle. Why did you need so many heavyweights for a party to fight your battle? It seems that you are incapable to fight your own battle. Of course, he didn't reply me. Right? I believe any minister worth his own salt would have fought his own battle. So he has disappointed me. The worst thing, in 1997, Goh Chok Tong started the pork barrel politics. He says, if you don't vote for PAP, your precinct will be the last to get the upgrading. I think the older folks will actually remember. Right? I was so angry. Right? I was so angry. I said, this is not right. We pay the same tax. Why would we be the second-class citizen? And I actually wrote a very long post back then in the forum, because my family members actually decided to vote for PAP just because of the HDB upgrading. I was having tears when I wrote that piece. I said, I do not want my children to stay in Singapore. If this is the culture that we want to instill in our old people, because we are a home and we should treat everyone as equal, regardless of who you support. And my conclusion back then was, either I just leave the place, raise my children somewhere, cultivate them with the right values. Your vote will not be bought by anyone else. You should have the freedom to choose and the informed choice to choose. They should actually tell you what you are choosing for, instead of saying, I put you ice cream, I put you what? Eggs, $1 eggs. That's what exactly they are doing right now, right? And fish some more. That is not the right values that we want our children to cultivate. after so many years, almost 20 years, they are still doing the same thing. My dear Singaporeans, everyone likes cheap stuff, especially the prices are very high now, right now. But you must not forget, nothing is more worthy of the values that you are going to cultivate your children. Because if your children, the values are being corrupted, that's the end of their life. That will stick with them for their life, the whole life. So we should not succumb to such vote buying. We are not third world country. In a third world country, they do that, buy votes by doing this. We are a first world country. Why should we allow this to carry on? You know what? Every election in the past, I've been through 4 elections. 3 of them, we can raise funds. We can sell our merchandise here. Because political parties are not supported by rich people. We are dependent on your donations or selling the merchandise. They change the rules. Even when they give you political donation certificate, which says that we can collect donations for political purpose. However, they set the rules that say we cannot sell any merchandise out here. This is a PAP. They want to stuff us from funds. They want to instill fear in you. You have to go to the QR code to donate. Many people do not want to be tracked. This is Wahang. But I tell you, if 1 million people start to use QR code to donate to political parties, what can you do? What can they do to you? This is the same old PAP that we have seen in the past. The politics of fear and the politics of favor. We have to decide what we want for our future, what we want for our home, what we want for our children. We do not want a corrupted mind and a fearful one. In our cause, it is very difficult to get people to volunteer. It is also because of fear. People can come to me, talk a lot, give me a lot of advisors, right? Because we stand for something. However, when I say, can you volunteer to be polling agent, counting agent? They say, bang. I don't want to get my name recorded. Why we cultivate a nation of fear for our children? This is the reason I raised my child, my only child, overseas. I do not want her to be encaged in this system. I am fortunate we can do that, but many of you can't. But only you step forward to show as an example there's nothing to fear in this homeland. This is your land. This is your country. Why should you fear for someone that you voted in to take care of the land? That makes no sense. They should be the one who are fearful of you, not you fear of them. We should not allow this to carry on. We should not let the subtle suppression to carry on. I'll tell you why they do not allow us to sell the merchandise. In the past, in 2006 election, Workers' Party have a lot of collection. In 2001, even NSP have a lot of collection by selling merchandise. They are fearful of your support, your monetary support. They are fearful of you, but yet they surprise us. It is said after 60 years of independence, we are still stuck at a very primitive third world country governance. Do you want to change? If you want to change, you have to make sure you voted for a change and nothing else. I decided to send a team to Ang Mo Kio, not only because I live in Ang Mo Kio for half of my life. I live in Cheng San, as I've said. I do business in Ang Mo Kio, Metcalf Computer, right, in Jubilee, for quite a while. But I love my Ang Mo Kio. But however, because Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong is here, everyone voted for him for his face value. Why? Singaporeans are very kind soul. If you do not vote for Lee Hsien Loong, next day we do not have Prime Minister how? That is always at the back of your mind. I can understand that. I can understand that. But now that he is no longer the Prime Minister, do you still want to vote for him? Or you vote for change? Lee Hsien Loong have done great disservice to our country. I will tell you why. When he took over in 2004, what kicks him? Any idea? The Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, which we call CECA, that we have signed with India. What does this CECA all about? Is it just a trade agreement? Yes, primarily it's a trade agreement. But in economics, trade theory, trade comes with trade of services, goods and services, capital movement, that means investment. You allow us to invest in your banks, right? And we allow you to invest in our banks. That's how it works. And the third one is labor, because economy is about capital, trade of goods and services, and labor. This is what CECA is all about. However, most of the country, when it comes to trade agreement, it is only about trade. It is about goods and services, and then maybe economic zone or freedom movement of capital. Some countries restrict the money movement, right? Some countries do that. Like China used to do that, but now they open up, right? But I have hardly heard any countries have a very liberal agreement of labor movement. That means your workers can come to my country to work, my workers can go to your country to work freely. This is the first in the world that allow almost uncontrolled, except for the quota that we have here, for 1.4 billion of mainland Indian national to gain access to Singapore job market for a list of profession. Initially, it comes with a few professions. Now it's 122. I lost track. Over 120 professions. And these are all PMAP jobs. These are the jobs that our children, our youngsters want. How big is our country, our citizenship? Do you know? And at this moment, with the new citizens, it's about 3.7 million only. What is 3.7 million compared to 1.4 billion? Peanuts. Even if we have only 1% of Indian from the mainland Indian to come and compete with all our children down here, 1% of 1.4 billion is already 14 million people. Imagine the top 1% of Indian people, the top brain, come and compete with your children. It is scary. No small countries can take that type of competition. It is not that we are xenophobic. Not at all. It is imbalance of trade agreement. But no one, absolutely no one in Parliament have raised this question. They say, good one. As an economist, the free market economists that we are taught, freedom of goods and services, capital and labor is good for economy because efficiency will rise, blah, blah, blah. But you must look at the context. The context of the size of the government, of the country that we are dealing with. This is why young professionals can hardly find a job that provide you a career path. What is the difference between a job and a career path? A job is just a job without future. You are paid for your job. Cleaner also can be a job. Contract staff are a job. You can be in IT line, but you are on contract basis. But you have no career path. What does it mean? You are not in the system of the company that provide promotion prospect. You are treated like a digit for the company to employ all these foreign talent, so-called. They are indeed foreign talent because top 1% is definitely top brains of the country in India. But there is already 14 million people you are competing with. But you are expecting the average Singaporeans to compete with the top 1% of Indian? It cannot be so. But we have been mocked. You know what? There was once, I think Philip Seo said this. University graduates in Singapore can only wash test tube, if you remember. Because we are not top. But I can ask you, if you do not give our children, our youngsters, the opportunity to have a meaningful job, to train, to upgrade, to assess the experiences, how are they going to be the top in the world? You took the shortcut to get the top talent and put it here, and our youngsters would never have the opportunity to learn for a job, to grow for a job, and to climb the corporate ladder. And that is exactly what happened to Singaporeans. I see so many youngsters are so demoralized because they cannot see a future in their job. And indeed, 20% of Singaporeans want to migrate out of Singapore. Why is that so? They are demoralized. This is why our slogan is to make Singapore our home again. A home where we do not deprive our own kind, our own citizens of not only gainful jobs, but jobs with prospect. And if you know, a lot of people are telling me this. When the companies start to employ, whether it's from India, whether it's Filipino, whether it's from China, mainland China, the whole village will come and take up all the position in the company. Why? Why are there companies, people who work in the company will say, I am the minority in my homeland. In my homeland, you work overseas. In overseas company, your minority is justified. Because you are the alien, so-called. If you go to US, you are called the aliens. You are the foreigners. But in our own land, homeland, our own companies, you become the minority. And the corporate culture will follow what the foreigners that have taken up all the position that dictates what are the culture of the company, not us. That is the most important part of this problem. We have lost our Singapore national identity. Whether in your home, your company, your corporate culture, whether in your hawker food, whether in your restaurants, in the malls, we will lose our culture. Right? I'll stop here for this part. And all because of the population policies of Lee Hsien Loong. From 2004 till now, he has increased 50% of population from 4 million people to 6 million people. But no one actually questioned why. Think about it. During this period, we have low fertility rate, they said. Not much of these babies. Why are we having so many people increase? It is all foreign inputs. I shall introduce my first speaker, the leader of the team of AMOQ, right? Mr. William Lim, to address all of you. William.
大家晚上好，大家好。我小弟叫做年静，每个人都叫我 William。今晚我站在这里，不只是作为一名候选人，更是作为一位跟你们一样理解新加坡普通人生活压力的邻居、朋友，还有家人。宏茂桥是一个充满活力的社区，有为家庭抛心带月、任劳任怨奋斗的中年人，也有为国家无怨无悔的奉献一生的年长者，还有正在为孩子打拼的年轻父母。但即使是在这样的成熟有爱的社区，我们也越来越深切地感受到，越来越多的居民也深切感受到中层阶级所面临的巨大压力。你们早出晚归，努力工作，埋头苦干，默默耕耘，只为了给家人一个更好的生活。但你有没有感觉，无论你怎么样努力，生活总是刚刚好，或者还是有点吃紧。福建讲吃未饱，腰未死。政府告诉你，你的收入太高，不符合援助资格，可是电费、水费、房贷、交通等等都在一一上涨值。这些所谓的高收入者又如何杯水车薪、雪中送炭呢？这就是我们中产阶级的现实困境。在新加坡，我们看到的是物价飞涨，年轻家庭买不起房，年长者 担心退休金吃作三空。我们看到许多父母为了孩子的教育，不额外投入时间、金钱去找补习中心，因为他们担心望子成龙、望女成凤的梦想，只靠学校远远是不够的。这一切不只是金钱上的压力，更是精神上的心力交瘁、忧心忡忡。我们要问的是，这是我们想要的新加坡吗？一个让中产阶级不断被压榨，只能咬牙坚持的社会吗？我们不是为了反对而反对，我们是义不容辞，挺身而出，为人民发声。我们要争取的一个公正合理、安居乐业的租屋房政策。我们要一个经济政策，不只听专家、听上层的意见，而是接地气、查民情，听听宏茂桥居民的心声。我们要一个可以让年长者安心退休，让年轻人敢于成家立业的新加坡。我们要一个中产阶级能够呼吸的社会。朋友们，是时候改变了，是时候让人民的心声走进国会，是时候让宏茂桥的你、我、他争取一个光明磊落、前途光明的未来。作为宏茂桥集选区的候选人，我坚定地认为，我们必须全力支持我们的年长者，让他们能够有尊严、有保障的安享晚年。如果我有荣幸的进入国会，这将是我提出几项重点的措施。第一，我们要将所有生活必需品，包括新鲜食品、杂货、水、医疗产品与服务，全面免费消费税，减轻负担，雪中送炭。第二，我们要扩大终身保健的覆盖范围，把所有在新加坡工作的外劳也纳入保障，让我们的风险池更大，让年长者少交一点健保。第三，我们要降低终身健保的支付额，让人民看病的时候不再望锲而止步。第四，我们要提高保健储蓄的提取限额，让年长者能够用好自己的储蓄，安心看病。最后，我们需要取消碳税。什么是碳税？我的后面的演讲者会跟你们解释什么是碳税，减轻企业的运营成本，这样我们才可以把物价回稳，民生减压。 各位朋友，我们要建设一个以人为本、仁政爱民的政府，一个真正设身处境、体恤民情的政府，一个能够雪中送炭、未雨绸缪、为人民谋幸福未来来铺道路的政府。宏茂桥居民，请支持人民力量党一票，谢谢。
Just now I talk about the problems of jobs, or rather the career. What are our solutions? You all never ask. Our solution is very, very simple. Every company in Singapore, the HR, human resource managers, must be Singaporean. Or else, they will be discriminating locals and employ their own nationals. That is why you see the whole village will come in. From India, from China, from Filipino. This is a very simple administrative law, regulation that we can impose. But we did not. Unless you cannot find anyone in Singapore that can take the role, I am okay for it to take the employee. And the next question you should ask, what is our maximum capacity in Singapore? How many people can we accommodate? Do you know what PAP have planned for all of us? Anyone have any idea? It is 10 million people. 10 million people in this little island. By 2065. I have to say this or else I kena POFMA. Because SDP kena POFMA because it's 2030, 10 million people. Then he said no. Right? Then they refuse to tell you the planning parameters for this city. Why? They say, oh, we didn't state, we have no parameters. How can you do planning of a city planning without the population parameters? 我唔是戇家, right? Nobody can plan a city without population parameters. And how do I derive these 10 million people? I'll tell you why. I'm very technical. I'm not like other rallies are rah rah rah. No, I'm going to tell you why. How to do it. If you remember, just last year, I think last year, or is it 2023? They increased the water bond tax, remember, to 30%. And the reason they give, exactly what is the reason they give? Consumption of water will double by 2065. Remember that? How can the consumption of water increase without population increase? That is a simple question. We are going to have more consumption for residential. Not by the dogs, not by the cats, but human beings. And if you do the calculation backwards, back then we have a 5.7 million people. If it doubles, it's actually less than doubles for residential consumption. It will become 10 million people by 2065. That is how we back calculate. They thought we cannot do back calculation. We did. It's 10 million people. And that is why they are telling you, I need to tax you more so that I can build infrastructure to cater for more people coming in from foreign lands, because we are not giving babies. Who are these? What are these infrastructure for? Who are that built for? For foreign incomers. We are paying the tax to build infrastructure to get more foreigners to come to our land and squeeze us out. When you have a population, overpopulation growth, what will happen? Your food will increase. Your rent, your land will increase. It means that the HDB price will increase. And definitely, your cars, the COE will increase because they fixed the COE numbers, 1 million cars. Imagine, PAP have a trick to say, we are going to have more millionaires and billionaires from all over the world, remember? They are so proud they can attract so many millionaires. But I can tell you, what does it mean for your children? And even you. The millionaires and billionaires will not only buy one car. They buy multiple cars. What is 100,000 or 200,000 COE to them? But can you afford it? Can your children afford it? Can the middle class afford it? We will face the middle class squeeze. In very simple terms, when my car COE expire in 3 years' time, I can no longer afford a car anymore. And so do many Singaporeans. So what is our plan for that? You can read it from our manifesto. You can get one and do some donation there. Right? The simple thing is additional premium on foreign buyers, just like the properties. It will level up. It will really level up the competition from these foreign family office people. And we should control, of course, the Grab, the private hired companies, because they are competing directly with all our middle class for scarce resources like cars. Cars are no longer a luxury. It is necessity when we have an aging population. These are the things that no one in Parliament is talking about. Absolutely no one. When I graduated in 1994, as an honor student, Goh Chok Tong gave us a dream, the 5 C's. Car, credit card, condos, cash, and country club membership. Now Lawrence Wong realized he cannot give this dream anymore. Because cars alone, they cannot promise. Why? You are going to take MRT station. MRTs, no more cars for you. You will not be able to afford, even for a graduate, even with an honors degree, even when you graduate from other foreign top schools, when you come back here, you may not even afford it. Trust my word. You will face the middle class squeeze very soon. In fact, it is already happening. I am fortunate. I'm going to retire. I have nothing to do with it anymore. I will not be affected. And that is why Coburn once said something. You want to retire? Go JB Law. But I can tell you, I am a Singaporean. I'm born here. I'm bred here. I'm educated here. I want to die here. Only this country owes you a living. And no place else. And that is exactly I tell my young people when I meet. Why do you want to migrate? This is the only place on earth that owes you a living. No other countries owes you a living, owes you anything. This place owes you a living because your parents pay the tax to build this place. And because your parents built this nation, your forefathers built this nation, why should you be squeezed out of this country? And you want to migrate out to a foreign land to be a second-class citizen? Because they feel that they are third-class citizens in Singapore. That is why. So I urge you, spread this message. There are ways to manage this. In many ways. It is all in our manifesto. To build this as a home. Because when I talk to the young ones, I don't feel that they treat this as a home. Even the middle age, they treat this place as a hotel. And it is sad. I never in my young life imagined this place will abandon me as a citizen. A place that will tell me to go to JB to retire and rent out my flats to the foreigners. Why did we turn into such a sad situation? Because our citizens allows people, PAP, to govern and set the rules for us. The next speaker, Akbar Hairun. She is a candidate for Tampines. She may not be a minister because I'm fighting a minister, Masakos, in Tampines. But she has a golden heart. She has been in community service, doing charity for her community. Not only in Tampines, in Yishun, in Amokyo, and Ajuli. And let's hear what she has to say. Abba.
Hi, good evening, Singaporean and residents of Amokyo. My name is Arba Harun. I'm 50 years old and I have 5 children. All are boys. Okay, let me start. Okay. Salam sejahtera Singapura dan penduduk Ang-Mo-Kio. Hari ini saya berdiri di hadapan anda bukan hanya sebagai calon, tetapi sebagai ibu, seorang anak perempuan, seorang jiran dan seorang rakyat Singapura yang memahami kebimbangan anda, kekecewaan anda dan harapan anda untuk masa depan yang lebih baik. Kita hidup di sebuah negara yang kaya raya dengan salah satu GDP per kapita tertinggi di dunia. Namun, terlalu ramai rakyat Singapura merasa ketinggalan. Kami bekerja berjam-jam menabung dengan tekun dan mengikut peraturan. Apabila tiba masa untuk bersara, ramai daripada kita mendapati bahawa simpanan wang CPF kita tidak mencukupi. Apabila ibu bapa kita jatuh sakit, kita bimbang sama ada mampu mendapatkan pekerjaan, mampu mendapatkan penjagaan kesihatan yang baik. Apabila kita memikirkan untuk mempunyai anak, kita bimbang tentang kos perumahan, GST yang semakin meningkat dan sama ada kita boleh memberikan masa depan untuk pada anak-anak kita. Ini bukan masalah terpencil. Ini adalah kegagalan sistematik dan sudah tiba masanya kita membetulkannya. Pertama, cadangan dasar pro-keluarga. Keluarga yang mempunyai asas moral dan didikan agama yang kuat dan mantap serta bahagia adalah baik untuk pembangunan sebuah negara. Baru-baru ini, saya mendapat tahu akan kemasukan gaya budaya LGBT dan kumpulan mereka ke Singapura. Atas dasar kemanusiaan, kami tidak menyerang atau anti mereka secara pribadi. Tapi, kami tidak setuju dengan kegiatan mereka yang suka terlalu menonjol untuk orang awam. Ia boleh mengelirukan anak-anak yang belum matang dan boleh menjadi keliruan serta bahaya terhadap sistem dan institusi sebuah keluarga. Walaupun pemerintah kita telah membatalkan Seksyen 377A, bahaya adalah kumpulan ini, mereka tidak puas hati, malah masih mencari jalan untuk dibenarkan dan diterima menjalankan hubungan sejenis dan berkahwin. Amat penting untuk ibu bapa dan keluarga mendidik dan memerhati percampuran anak-anak supaya mereka tidak terpengaruh dengan budaya yang dilarang oleh agama Islam dan tidak disukai oleh kumpulan konservatif. Kita perlu meletakkan keluarga sebagai keutamaan sekali. Parti Kuasa Rakyat berdiri untuk sokongan kewangan langsung untuk ibu bapa baru berkeluarga, bukan hanya bonus bayi tetapi sokongan bulanan untuk 3 tahun pertama kehidupan seorang kanak-kanak. Penjagaan kanak-kanak bersubsidi untuk semua keluarga, terutamanya isu rumah pendapatan sederhana yang terlepas pandang. Dasar kerja fleksibel wajib untuk menyokong ibu bapa yang bekerja kerana keluarga yang lebih kuat bermakna masyarakat yang lebih kuat. Ketidakkecukupan pesara, mereformasi CPF. Kita tidak boleh mengelarkan diri kita sebagai negara dunia pertama jika warga tua kita terus mengemas meja untuk terus hidup. Kita mesti hentikan kenaikan umur pengeluaran CPF, memperkenalkan lantai pendapatan persaraan universal. Tiada warga emas Singapura yang seharusnya hidup dalam kemiskinan setelah seumur hidup berkhidmat. Beri lebih baik kebebasan kepada rakyat Singapura ke atas CPF mereka kerana ia adalah wang anda, bukan wang pemerintah. Ketiga, penjagaan kesihatan dan GST. Kesihatan adalah hak, bukan kemewahan. Tetapi kenaikan GST menjadikan barangan dan perkhidmatan penting semakin sukar untuk mampu. Kami mencadangkan GST sifar untuk barangan keperluan makanan asas, ubat-ubatan, utilities. Peningkatan subsidi untuk rawatan penyakit kronik. Rancangan insuran kesihatan nasional yang menghadkan perbelanjaan sendiri. Keempat, perumahan dan CPF. Pangsa puri kita sepatutnya menjadi rumah, bukan bom yang boleh meletup bila-bila masa. Kami mencadangkan pemisahan persaraan daripada perumahan. Hentikan pengeluaran CPF untuk pangsa puri yang terlalu mahal dan menyusut nilai. Laksanakan model penilaian jualan semula yang adil berdasarkan baki pajakan, bukan harga spekulatif. Skim sewa awam yang lebih mampu milik untuk mereka yang terlepas pandang. Kelima, kesan dasar imigresen terhadap pekerjaan. Kami alu-alukan bakat, tetapi bukan dengan mengorbankan rakyat kami sendiri. Kami akan mendorong data pekerjaan yang tulus mengikut sektor, kumpulan umur kewarganegaraan, dan kami akan mendesak data pekerjaan yang tulus mengikut sektor kumpulan umur dan kewarganegaraan. Mewujudkan kuota yang adil untuk pekerja asing berdasarkan jurang kemahiran sebenar, bukan margin keuntungan. Mewajibkan syarikat yang untuk melabur dalam peningkatan kemahiran tempatan sebelum menggaji pekerja dari luar negara. Takbir urus baik, good governance. Takbir urus yang baik bukan tentang slogan. Ia tentang ketulusan dan kebertanggungjawaban. Kami akan mengubah undang-undang untuk audit bebas, mandatory, GIC dan temasek. Desak Akta Kebebasan Maklumat kerana rakyat berhak untuk tahu. Hadkan gaji menteri kepada tidak lebih daripada 10 ganda pendapatan medium. Kerana kepimpinan seharusnya tentang perkhidmatan, bukan kekayaan. Singapura. Rakyat Singapura. Ini bukan sekadar pilihan raya, tapi ini adalah referendum tentang jenis negara yang kita mahu diami. Adakah kita mahu lebih daripada yang sama? Atau adakah kita mahu sistem yang berkhidmat untuk rakyat? Jika anda bosan dengan janji-janji kosong, jika anda mahukan dasar yang mengutamakan keluarga, melindungi persaraan anda, pekerjaan anda dan masa depan anda, maka sertai kami. Undi untuk orang yang berjuang untuk anda. Undi parti kuasa rakyat untuk GRC Ang-Mo-Kio. Terima kasih, majulah Singapura. Next one. In English. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I need to use script. Or else I forget everything. Hi fellow Singaporean, we've come to a turning point in our story. The road ahead won't be easy, but it's full of chances to make things better. And if we come together with hearts and guts, we can make Singapore our home again. Number 1, putting families first. Our birth rates are low, but our hopes are not. Imagine a Singapore where young couples don't put off marriage because flats are too expensive. We'll roll out a family kickstart housing program, giving young couples affordable 2.5 room BTOs without the crazy land price tax. South Koreans done it, and it works. We can do the same here. We also give monthly support for each kid and heavily subsidize IVF for couples who want children but need a little help. Starting a family shouldn't feel like climbing Mount Everest. Don't you think so? Number 2, let our elders retire in peace. Let's be real, our seniors deserve better. Right now, 74% of retirees are living on less than 500 a month in CPF payouts. That's not right? We'll make CPF more useful by changing how it's used, raise employers' contributions, and invest better, just like Norway does. With its public fund, our pioneers work so hard, they should get to rest easy, correct? Number 3, housing must be within reach. Young Singaporeans shouldn't have to fight with millionaires for a place to live. We'll build HDBs before people need them, like Hong Kong cleared its backlog. And we'll price them based on real starting salaries, not market type. Speculator? We'll keep them in check so homes goes to the people, not portfolios. You agree with me? Number 4, jobs that works for us. Singaporeans built this country. We should be the first in line for good jobs. We make sure HR departments are led by local, and MNC must hire at least 60% of Singaporeans. If they want tax perk, Canada already does something similar. We just want a fair chance. You want a fair chance? This isn't about hating foreigners. It's about making sure our people don't get pushed aside. Number 5, smarter immigration, not more. Let's be smart about how people we bring in. We cap the population at 6.5 million to keep things livable. Citizenship should mean something. You work, live, and contribute here first. Japan takes a steady, careful approach to immigration. We can too. Number 6, a government that listens, not lectures. Who would like to lecture? We need real accountability. That's why we set up an ombudsman and have independent audits for big government projects. New York does this, and it builds trust. We stop the own self-check, own self-nonsense. It's time for real transparency. Number 7, make every vote counts. Let's fix our voting system so everyone's voice matters. We want proportional representation like Germany or New Zealand. No more gerrymandering. No more big majorities from just 60% of the vote. Before I go, our manifesto isn't just a wish list. It's our game plan for a better tomorrow. A Singapore where you can start a family, where your parents are looked after, where your voice matters. Don't give up on our home. Let's take it back together. Let's make Singapore our home again. Thank you.
Thank you, Abba. Yes, the aspiration is the same, right? We started our nation as a subcontractor of the world, right? We built Jurong as our industrial park right from the start. We invested in the infrastructure. Then we have a model of asking MNCs to come in to invest and to create jobs for our people. It was a good model back then. And we became the 4 Asian tigers in the 1970s, 1980s. However, the other 3 tigers, the 2 tigers, have leaps and bounds. They have their own MNCs. Samsung, LG, TSMC, Asustek from Taiwan. Right. But where are our MNCs in Singapore? Only SIA. Where did we fail as an economic development? Are we lack of innovators? Definitely not. We have South Blaster, remember? But it was incubated in Silicon Valley, not in Singapore. Our culture, our education doesn't allow outliers. People who think differently. Right. Agree. I'm an outlier. But I'm a smarter outlier. I survived the education system. But many did not. So there is something wrong with our education system. And nobody knows exactly how to change it. I don't have the full answers. But when I look at how the international schools in Singapore teach their students, I am very impressed. Very impressed. Same IB system like our independent schools. The way they teach is not spoon feeding. They teach our their student, to think in critical thinking. But our PAP government is afraid of critical thinking. Or else there will be more GMS in the future. That's what they are afraid of. But without critical thinking instilled in our population, we will not beat the AI era. And this is an existential threat to all the jobs in Singapore. However, we do have our innovators. The next speaker is a proud inventor in Singapore. But the company is not MNC yet. It's still trying to grow. But the cost of doing business here, the indirect taxes, are just suffocating. And he will tell you, he will represent the medium company, the small and medium local companies. And he's Mr. Peter So, who will be contesting in Tampines. He has won a Presidential Innovation Award. Not something to take it lightly. Right? He has won many awards in the green industry. Let's welcome Mr. Peter So.
各位朋友们，大家晚上好。首先，我要感谢大家今晚来到这里，大家非常辛苦，聆听我是一个新人在这里发声音。我姓苏，叫荣生，英语可以称我的名字叫做 Peter So。我来自人民力量党 PPP。我和很多人一样，出生是一穷二白，来自单亲家庭，从小跟你们大家都是一样，住在一个小小的政府组屋。小时候读过4所小学，到处流浪，所以贫穷和没有钱的滋味，或者是钱不够用，我都非常的了解。所以靠着自己的努力，白手起家，创造了2家公司。这2家科技公司 我就是公司的创始人，也是发明人，也是公司的首席执行官 CEO。我的公司专注于在中央空调，英文称为 HVAC， 节能、减碳、节水的各种研发，而这些研发产品已经落实到很多个国家，而这些产品拥有超过20多个国家的专利。当然，我也获得很多政府和部长们的表扬。但是今天我站在这里，不是为了名和利，而是我看到、亲身体验到，当你穷时，你求助于政府，他们的一些政策，或者是 SME 中小型企业有遇到瓶颈时，他们的一些政策都是不到位。所以我知道这个国家有疾病了，你们受的痛苦，那又怎么样？如果我不站出来，那又有谁站出来呢？因为很多人都很怕站出来在这里讲话。你们要知道，政治决定政策，政策决定生活，生活影响生死，也就是你活还是我生存的问题。所以你们说对不对？
对。
现在呢，今年的大选非常热闹，尤其是在丹宾尼区、丹宾尼集选区首次出现了4个政党竞选。其实我要感谢工人党加入，导致有这么多的选择，给丹宾尼多的选择，就好像你们吃那个杂菜饭的时候，选择多了是好事。所以呢，这才是一个真正的民主。作为新人，我会坦然接受这些挑战。我希望大家给人民力量党一个机会，也给吴明胜一个机会。为什么我站在这里？谢谢。吴明胜在政治领域奋斗了30多年，没有薪水了。你叫现在的部长，有谁敢奋斗30多年没有薪水继续奋斗吗？还有部长们说，我的薪水还不够用啊，他们还要求增加薪水。但是吴明胜早在很多年前就揭发了政府主务的问题，也勇敢发表很不合理的政策，这种敢怒敢言、敢为人民出头，值得大家支持，对不对？
对。
谢谢。最近我是一个商人，我为了这个政治，也是朋友问我，你为什么要进来呢？我告诉他们，因为呢，现在的战情非常的激烈。朋友问我，在登宾尼的朋友问我，既然这么激烈，有4个政党，那我应该怎么做选择呢？还有些朋友问我，他们刚刚搬进了这个丹宾尼集选区，也是第一次投票，他们也问我这些问题，那我只好一个个的帮他们分析。既然是4个政党在丹宾尼竞选，哪4个呢？第一个 BAB 人民行动党，第二个工人党 Worker Party， 第三个 PPP 人民力量党，还有 NSP， 4个政党。那这4个政党出来竞选呢，要怎么做选择呢？我这里呢解读一下。 人民行动党从第3代到第4代，已经执行了多少年？30年了。新加坡的生活真的有进步吗？有变得更好吗？你们都说没有了，答案已经出来了。你懂为什么吗？我告诉你们我自己的了解。第一个是消费税，从7%增加到9%。你懂这个消费税增加是什么时候开始吗？是上一次你们大选选了他之后进入了国会，部长们就说是时候了，增加2%，只是2%而已。这2%的增加，我想问问你们，你们的生活压力是不是只有2%？你们的生活费用是不是只有2%？答案很简单，你们去问一下7%到9%的时候的不同点，喝一杯咖啡，吃一盘鸡饭，不同的不是只有2%，超过10%，超过很多。这也就是为什么生活水涨船高。第二，在第3代在30年的统计之下，他们突然间增加了碳税。碳税是现在什么叫碳税？现在是25块每1公吨，将来大选过后还会再继续增加到80块每1公吨。这不是我说的，你们懂得上网就知道了。这个事件呢，不是开玩笑的，因为到了80块每1公吨，也就是说大选之后，你们的生活费还会继续上升。你们愿意吗？愿意。那这个碳税为什么政府要执行呢？我们不是傻瓜，你上网看看，新加坡提供的碳在这个环球，在2019年只占了0.1%，到了现在只占到0.2%，是很微小的事件。但是呢，这个碳税啊，给我们的生活就会增加了很多。我简单的举例是，每20块每公吨，你们的水电费跟那个叫做水费、水的收费就要增加1%。你们想想，接下来的水费还会起价吗？我打铁票，大选过后，还是在那个人民行动党的执政之下，还会继续涨价。所以你们要懂得，这个涨价呢，会影响我们的生活，导致可以吃的、不可以吃的都是在起价。你们愿意吗？还有修改法律，在人民行动党执政之下，刚刚不久，他们修改了一些法律，就是疫情来时，怎么了？你不打疫苗是吗？是会形成刑事罪，你会被罚款，甚至坐牢。你们怕不怕坐牢？不怕的，哪一位举手？要小心啊！因为当你们投这个票支持的时候呢，你们要面对的种种的问题在以后，而这个问题可能不是只有你，会影响到你的朋友，还有你的孩子，或者甚至你的父母亲。因为这个打疫苗将是强制性的，你的身体不是你的，你没有决定权，也没有选择权。然后呢，在现在的制度下， 人民行动党在这第3代跟第4代，对于穷人的福利补助有帮助吗？我帮助了几个穷人在救济产路，哇，伤脑筋啊！你要证明你妈妈是妈妈，你要证明怎么穷啊？然后甚至那个官员打电话，为什么不要再做德士啊？叫他大巴士过来，穷人都没有钱的大巴士，真的是没有一个好的政策，真正的、彻底的、有效的帮助这些穷人。这些政策只是光看很好看而已。还有，在他们的政治下，在他们的统治下，人民行动党的统治下，这么多年了。媒体播放啊，这些媒体啊，问问你们自己啊，有没有新闻自由？没有。你们没有发言自由。对。那为什么这么说呢？我举个例子，你们知道吗？昨天我的队友 Larry Sim， 他说了打疫苗的问题。打疫苗导致坐牢的事件，还有病死因为打疫苗病死解剖的报告，这些有相关的法律全部大修改。你懂这些新闻啊？在 Tampines 啊，隔天啊，全部删除掉。这就是没有新闻自由。所以这些种种的还好。今天还有这个网络世界有 YouTube 啊，有抖音视频啊，我们还可以从这些把人民的声音发表出去。但为什么要做到这样子呢？现在是什么时代？我们不是在非洲啊，讲个话都要很多的准证啊！天哪！还有现在的新加坡，我刚刚最近才听到。尤其是有些比较穷的孩子们，什么事情呢？中学、大学还要到马来西亚去读书啊！有没有听过这样的事情？找工作还要到马来西亚去找工作，治理了这么多年，还要这样子，而不用紧，有些中学去读书回来新加坡说到处塞车。我去的时候到处塞车，这个塞车问题啊，已经是相当多年了，所以可以说是政府无能啊，连这种小事都无法处理啊。塞车这种小事，我当政，我跟你讲，我在2年之内处理这些小事情了，有什么难的事情？因为政府很多精英，所以太多了。我不想继续讲下去，有关于人民行动党的种种问题，他们也是好政府，只是不能做得更好。对。所以现在呢，我告诉我朋友，第2个政党在 Tampines 叫做什么？工人党 Worker Party。讲到这个政党，我是新人，一开始我知道这个消息，我是非常的失望。你作为一个有经验的政党，你在门林伯瑞突然撤出不参选，让各位的反对党阵营措手不及，这个是没有社会责任，也没有担当。然后呢，很糟糕的，随便讲一个理由，我没有不够精英，我不够精英，而我有自己的策略，草率了事。这样很糟糕。如果你这有这样的朋友，不仁不义，没有社会道德，没有社会的责任，我的性格是远离一点了，不要接近我。还有工人党在谈这个疫情的时候，他们也是国会议员啊，为什么没有担当的，没有积极的去反对？缺乏担当，这样当议员在做什么？精英在里面做什么？ 所以很失望。而且工人党在执行市政管理的时候，这么多年10多年了，但是我看来看去很多新闻报道，感觉上他们都没有创新啊，也没有很好的进步。所以我很希望大家想一想，特别是工人党的支持者。第四，工人党现在的执行的政策也跟 PPP 人民行动党一模一样，寻找人家做国会议员候选人都需要精英，某某大学特别精英律师我总觉得什么 scholar 什么奖学金我觉得这些东西对我来说不是很重要。为什么呢？因为我本身曾经去见过很多的不同地区的国会议员，结果呢，这国会议员是律师，他会告诉你，我是国会议员，虽然我是律师，我不能用律师的身份跟你办事情，我只能用议员的身份。有些是部长，在哪里 ？Manipulate， 当时是部长，但是呢，结果他告诉你我是部长，我是人力部长，但是这个问题呢，我真的是只能用国会议员来帮你处理。所以我说精英没用，当你们需要的是什么呢？是那个国会议员能帮你写好报告，对口的进行解决问题。你们同意吗？
同意。
谢谢。我也请求全新加坡人支持陈清墨医生进入国会，这是他最后的参选。我也知道更需要支持于顺全博士他多年的努力，我希望那一区的选民，集选区的选民都是大家投他们一票进入国会。现在呢，工人党呢，我也希望在邦哥地区了、后港地区了，他们有集选区的地方，尽量的支持他们进入国会。既然工人党有这么多的机会，所以我这边建议 Tampines 集选区，他们就让给我们进入国会。谢谢。为什么呢？因为我不相信 own self check own self， 我更相信是 different party political counterbalances counter checking。所以呢，工人党也相信这个理念。所以呢，我们进入国会，在 Tampines 进入国会，我们会成为一个小政党，做一个监督，来监督各个政党在国会的表现，各个互相牵制。所以我请求所有在 Tampines 人民行动党跟工人党的支持者，转换来支持我们进入国会。国会议员不是精英俱乐部，我们不需要精英，所以呢，我们要为人民解决问题。最后呢，我要唱一首歌。我有一个家，一个不必华丽的地方，当我疲倦时，我会想起他。这首歌就是我要有个家。So make Singapore home again。谢谢，谢谢。Support PPP， 支持人民力量党。 还是 support PPP， 你们自己做决定。特别是在丹贝利集选区的时候，如果人说要 support PPP 或者是 support BAP 或者是 support 任何政党国歌 party， 我还是一句话，在丹贝利支持人民力量党 PPP， 谢谢。
谢谢苏荣生先生Peter Su。你们有没有看到这个？这是什么？莲花清瘟。我不是为他打广告啊。你们有没有看过我的视频？COVID 的时候有没有？那个介绍莲花清瘟的就是我。来，我不是莲花指，我是介绍莲花清瘟。I introduced this during the COVID, when there was a spike in infection. I cannot introduce other prescription drugs, but this is off the shelf, so I can introduce. When I was told this can actually mitigate the symptoms for those infected. And I believe I'm not an anti-vax. I'm definitely not anti-vax. In 2020, I said the only way for us to walk out of the pandemic, we need three things. What are the three things? One is the fast testing mechanism, not as PCR. PCR is too cumbersome. So we have the little thing, do the testing. We have it. The second thing that we need is what we call early treatment protocol. What is early treatment protocol? That means you have a set of treatment medication that can actually release the symptoms and prevent your illness from develop further into serious illness due to the infection. That's called the early treatment protocol. The third thing is the vaccine. But the vaccine must be safe and effective. That is a prerequisite. And in order to be effective and safe, in statistical terms, I'm an economics student as well as a stats student. So I study this. To have herd immunity, we need 75% of vaccination only for the population. Right? Then we can achieve. Wow. Hi. Okay. Then we can achieve. I didn't call the plane to come here. Okay. In order to achieve this herd immunity by having 75% of vaccination rate, the vaccine must be effective to prevent transmission and infection. That is a prerequisite. That is a very scientific terms. I have dealt with marketing research for pharmaceutical companies before. So I understand how it works. However, when the COVID vaccine came out, I am a bit worried, right? Because it is made of a new technology, which is untested. We didn't have safety data, long-term safety data. Long-term safety data will take at least 3 to 5 years at least. Sometimes it takes 10 years. Because your clinical trial will have to go through 3 clinical trials and 4 clinical trials. And it must be random, blind, random, we call it the randomized clinical trial, right? Blindfolded one, right? They did not have that. They did not complete the trial before they push it out. But that is okay, no safety data. The first few months that they came out with this vaccination, remember, for the hospital as well as the Changi Airport people. But, you know what? A lot of people infected for the Changi Airport side. And for those work in the hospital who have taken the vaccine. So it has proven that the vaccine didn't work to prevent infection and transmission. Remember, in order to have herd immunity, you need effective prevention of infection and transmission. Now the question is, why would they force us to take the jab if it's not effective? It doesn't make sense. They say, oh, be responsible to the old people at home. Correct? Remember? You have to take the jab. But if it doesn't prevent transmission and infection, bo pakai what? It doesn't make sense. You do not need an expert to come to that conclusion. It's just logical. But they press on. And we start to have people who take the jab, the 48 hours die. For this, they say no causation relationship. Correlation is not causation. Okay, well, we know. But there are so many data that comes from overseas, in Europe, in US, that shows so many side effects. And in fact, when the Pfizer papers was released, do you know how many side effects are there? Potential adverse side effects? Anyone have a guess? 1,291 side effects. If I tell you these drugs have 10 side effects and some of them can be fatal, will you take it?
No.
And why would you want to take a vaccine that have potentially 1,291 side effects?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, I was zero jab because I don't believe.
Woo!
And I have never had COVID before. Right? Maybe because I didn't test because no symptoms But I have this. When the Delta wave came, a lot of people suffer. I have to go and dig out the research. And this actually helps to relieve. But I pay a big price for pushing this. MOH start to come and tough me. They do not believe this as an early treatment protocol. They do not want people to know this as a treatment protocol. They do not want people to take it as a treatment protocol. Early treatment protocol. Why? Because they want you to jab.
Yes.
However, business means business. NTUC Unity start to sell this as COVID relief. And then Guardian Pharmacy also sell this, put it there. So who is right? Of course it's me lah. Okay, but I'm not taking credit for this. I do not need to take credit. In fact, I have to buy this for a lot of people who are stuck at home. They just WhatsApp me or private message me. I send this to them without delivery fees because it is my home. These are my people. If they are in trouble, I'm willing to help. Now, it is not as if the MOH didn't know about this. They kept quiet, but at the back, they actually conducted or commissioned a research in this, the effectiveness, as early as 2021, early. But when they try to perform me and they say there's no evidence it's effective as a cure, I'm not saying it's a cure, it's an early treatment protocol. Right? Blah, blah, blah. Then I come up with a statement. By research, they actually commissioned a study. And they jump. They say, oh, the study didn't carry out because not enough people to do a trial. I think it's bullshit.
Yes.
There's so many people cannot what. It's easy to do a randomized trial. But never mind, take care of this. Then they they commissioned a second research. I tell you, they commissioned a second research, supposed to complete by 2023 November with the TCM group, right? Zhonghua Yiyuan. Up till now, I didn't see the report. Why? I want to ask you why. By November 2023, because when you commission a report, there will be a publication. A commission has been done for this study. With collaboration with a GP and the Chinese TCM, I have no reports. Is it effective? Nobody knows. But millions of these have been sold, and at times out of stock. The market will decide whether it works or not. Right? When people buy it, try it, effective, definitely, the market will decide, not the expert. Simple as that. This is the story of Liu Hua Qingwen. Right? Without further ado, I introduce the civil servant, by humble retired civil servant, Mr. Martin Ho.
I love the opportunity to speak to you, and I believe this will be heard by the whole Singapore.
Yes.
My name is Martin, and I grew up in the 60s, so you know how old I am. When I finished studying, I was very fortunate to serve my national service as a police inspector. And I see a lot of policemen here, I feel very at home. After that, I went on to get an engineering degree because in those days, if you do well in exams, you qualify to do engineering. And all the top students, they either go medicine or engineering, not even law. Those were the days. And when I graduated, I was very fortunate. I am among a few who didn't have to look for a job because the Public Service Commission offered me a job in the environment. And I've been working there for 38 years. Well, I know there's a lot of good governance when I first joined the civil service. But as Peter has pointed out, not so. I attribute it probably due to paper generals taking the lead, which I'm not too comfortable with. But Peter has illustrated why he's not happy with these elites, scholars or what have you, because they don't know the ground. They just follow what they have been told and they force it downwards. Now, as a public servant, I was asked not to get involved in politics, so I was never interested in Singapore's politics, and I'm more interested in politics outside Singapore. So I know what's going on. But Singapore I know a little, but after the COVID, I begin to ask a lot of questions, and when I have the opportunity to meet Goh Meng Seng, I say, I have to speak up a lot of things.
Yes.
One of the things I need to speak up, I need to question, is why we have already so-called had a COVID about 5 years ago, and after 2 years or so, we more or less control COVID, and the government is no longer that forceful for us to have the vaccine mandate. So by then, a lot of us already have gotten 3 jabs, including myself. But I was a bit smarter because I read up a lot of what's happening overseas, and I know a lot about the mRNA vaccine. So I tried to tell my friends, please don't take it. So they say you are anti-vaxxer, wait, you spread COVID to us. I say no. If I catch up with you guys, you may be shedding spike proteins, and I may be the one receiving from you the spike proteins. I thought I escaped. But no, because I work in the public service, I have to get jabbed. I was fortunate because my colleagues started jabbing in March, and by September, I was still unjabbed by the mRNA vaccines. Then the HR spotted me and called me. If you don't get jabbed by 17th of September, don't come to work. I was shocked, but I already expected it to come. But because I walked by faith, I did not go and find out whether the alternative Sinopharm vaccine, which is a traditional deactivated virus vaccine, is available. Fortunately, it arrived in late August and got approved. So I quickly applied to get jabbed with Sinopharm. And after that, my HR called me as if still very revengeful, not enough. Even I got the jab. He said, now you must do ART for 6 weeks. And I will get your supervisor to supervise you when you dig that thing in your nose. Very vindictive. I already sense something is not right. Now that was in 2022. By 2023, everything quietened down. But now it's 2025, and I want to ask. That time we had emergency use authorization because the pandemic which was planned was so frightening, and everybody seems to be catching on the flu. They have to get you jabbed, and it's under the emergency use authorization. But they rejected the repurposed drugs, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, dexamethasone. Now, all these are antiviral drugs, anti-inflammatory drugs, which could be repurposed. It's for the same reason why Lianhua Qingwen is effective, because it brings down the inflammation. The Chinese say, 金抓, the inflammation they associate with heat. So Qingwen, that means to cool down. Now, by now, it is very clear that among the Singapore population, we still have a large number of people who believe in the vaccines. And when I went to talk to this guy, I was talking to another guy. He was listening, and his wife, another seated here, interrupted me. And then the husband also interrupted me, and they accused me of not listening to them, so I listened. So when I told him that I only objected to mRNA vaccines and not the traditional vaccines which have been time tested, he told me something shocking. He said they are the same. You look, I take a lot of non-mRNA vaccines, and this is what happened to me. So he lifted up his foot and showed me it's all red. That means the feet, his feet, has got blood clots, poor blood circulation. You understand? And he accepts it. So I say, why not? I suggest to MOH, we have a priority scheme for people who trust in vaccines to go first. And maybe the first 30% or 50% free. Now, if you have a vaccine that works, time-tested and free, people will be rushing for it. Do you need to come up with a mandatory law which penalizes people who reject vaccination with a fine of $10,000 first time and $20,000 the second time, or you go to jail 6 months and second time 12 months? Do you need such a draconian law? No. In the Infectious Diseases Act? No. Free, working. Everybody will be queuing up. So for those pro-vaxxers, I suggest the government do you a favor. Priority queue. Register your name with MOH. If the next pandemic comes, you go for your free jabs. You'll be okay. And after 6 months or 1 month, 1 year, when nothing happens to you, people will say, wow, very effective. So people will not have this fear of the vaccine, and that time you don't need to call it emergency use authorization. So I think you will agree with me on this. But I've spoken enough on vaccines, and I think there are a lot of things I want to cover. So I will now talk about what happened to those who got vaccinated. I know a doctor who has been busy treating people with COVID injuries. Of course, he also knows Dr. Gibson, but he's a bit unfortunate because of what's going on. He is the one who uses traditional means to treat people with COVID injuries, and he told me last year that this year there will be a spike in turbo cancer. And it's happening now because I've got friends who got cancer. When he goes for his treatment, a lot of people are queuing up for their cancer treatment. Besides turbo cancer, you have also myocarditis. I have friends who now say, I got blockage here and there, I need to go for operation. But I say, do you eat a lot of fatty food? Is it due to cholesterol or what is blocking your arteries? I say, you better find out because I suspect it could be spike proteins. Now, so all this leads to high medical costs. And I think later on my colleagues will elaborate more about how to address this problem. But one way for older people with limited funds or cash to be more, for the government to be more liberal in their use of the MediSave for certain critical illness treatment in hospitals. Because if not, they have no cash, they die. Cannot use CPF some more. The next thing I will want to touch on is with regards to foreign landlords. We are going back to a feudal system. You either own the land, you rent it out, and you collect money, or you work hard to pay your landlord. Who are our new landlords? At first they come and buy our residential properties, and then with the stamp duties they went to buy commercial properties, and then they rent out to our local hawkers or some foreign hawkers also, and they are free to increase the rent. I think the government should have some form of land control to cap or to monitor the increase in rental, so that our food prices or our shopping or our items, our commercial items, the price will not be so high. Just now my colleague mentioned about Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, happened to be a distant relative, and we also have similar names because my name in Mandarin also ends with a dragon. 我的华文名是何云龙，他的是显龙，显威风的显。我的云是热云的云 ，sunshine. I hope to shine light and give you warmth if I win in this battle. Enter the dragon, because if you remember in Bruce Lee's movie, he had to defeat the formidable Sekin. I hope by doing that, Mr. Lee will be able to have his hard-earned retirement after 40 years in politics. He has worked for 50 years, including 10 years in the army. He's very tired. I felt a lot of compassion for him when I saw him on nomination day because he looks weak. Anyone who have to work 50 years with so much worries, 人在江湖身不由己，他逃不了，他真的是很可怜，真的是。So if I happen to win, I wish him a happy retirement. Yes. Okay, and we thank him for his 40 years of service. For whatever it is, you may not like him, you may not like some of his policies, but give credit where credit is due. And then he has already found a new prime minister. I think he needs to have more rest to recover and regain his immune system, immunity, his strength. So with that, I wish Mr. Lee all the best for your retirement. It's not early. It's well-deserved retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. All right. Yeah, as a home to Singapore, we take care of the old and the elderly, the retired. And how do we take care of the elderly? They just increased the MediShield premium for the elderly, 35% in 3 years. Imagine you are a retiree, where will you have the money to pay for it? For your MediSave, right? What happens if your MediSave don't enough? Ask for your children. If you don't have children, what happened? It is illogical to increase MediShield premium for retirees. Although, in insurance term, they will do that. Because the older you are, the high risk you are to have medical condition. But MediShield premiums we have been paying all our life is supposed to be protecting us for all our life. Why now that they need to increase the MediShield premium? I can reduce the MediShield premium for everyone, especially the elderly, the retiree. If I ever go into Parliament, I will debate with the ministers. How do I reduce? Money don't drop from the sky, definitely. How do I reduce? I will make all foreigners who work in Singapore to pay MediShield. And because why? When they come to work in Singapore, they have to go through their health screening. They are young, they are healthy. Correct? And you make them pay the MediShield as an insurance. 包坦欸. Because they are young people, by statistical terms, we will earn a lot of premium from them, just like an insurance company. And we use this amount to cover the medical costs of our retirees. That is what we are supposed to do to supplement our aging population. But no, PPP didn't do that. They prefer to take workers' levy from these people instead of supplementary the MediShield premium for our retirees. This is one of the most important proposals in our manifesto. It is not new. Japan have it. If you go to Japan and work, you have to pay universal premium, healthcare premium. If you go to Taiwan, they charge you the same. But the key is this: do not anyhow give out new citizenship. Why? Because if you give the new citizenship to these foreigners, then you have to take care of their health for life. Then there's no cross subsidies. If you don't give the citizenship to them after they retire in Singapore, balik kampung, whatever they have paid in the MediShield belongs to us. And that is how we should use the system to help our aging population. They have so many bright brains, top brains, cannot be a small little honest students can think of this, but they didn't think of this. Right? The next speaker is Mr. Derek Sim. He is a financial advisor. You will talk more about that.
"首先，我要感谢大家抽空过来这边听我们的群众大会，非常感谢你们。还有，我要感谢所有的警察，他们七早八早就来这边stand by。我来到宏茂桥是一个老家，因为我过去10年的时候是在这边国民服役当警察的，所以我看到这个体育场给我很多感触。好，接下来让我自我介绍。我的名字 Derek Sim， 我是人民力量党的主席。我16岁的时候就开始工作了，所以我不是所谓的精英，也是一步一脚印的这样做起的。我16岁的时候是在超级市场做收银员，然后有在油站做 bum attendant， 也有洗厕所，然后就是因为要去理工学院，在理工学院的时候，我是有做服务员，也有当补习老师。到了理工学院毕业，我就sign on做了8年的警察，4年 我是穿制服的警察，早期是有很多那个 police post 说那个警岗，所以我是在警岗做警察的。然后接下来4年我是做调查官，也在法政部当了将近4年，最后一个任期是在交通警察当了大概1年的IO 调查官。然后我去读大学，我毕业于生物化学，还有就是在Macquarie University Sydney 在澳洲。然后我就辞掉警队，现在在金融业做一个理财规划师，也是一个副董事长。所以为什么很多人问为什么我要出来竞选？接下来我要讲的课题，你们最好拿笔纸写下来。还有我要跟电视机前的朋友，现在是 live streaming， 注意听，因为我已经给媒体4次的这个访问，4次都已经删除掉，4次都删除掉，所以你们现在可以来这边听我讲是非常好的。我会用一点方言，因为我看到一些安哥安弟，这阵爱讲的物件是真重要的。安怎今日来这道大选，是因为这传染病法，伊伫2023年政府过了，摆有疫情的时阵，你无拍章是爱坐家的。那些听不懂福建的，我解释一下。在2023年，国会改变了这个法令，这个东西我们必须要进国会，而需要你们的支持，因为接下来的疫情，如果不打针就要坐牢。今天走访了宏茂桥，很多居民不相信，我们也是跟很多 PPP 的支持者讲，他们慢慢的听，静静的听，过后他们不相信，我们把那个法令印了出来给他们看，白纸黑字，我叫他们读一下。所以是什么法令呢？传染病法令 Section 47 Section 65还有 Section 67， 所以我再用华语重复一下，第47章和第65章，所以你可以买马票哦，明天星期天4765最好是头奖啦。OK， 所以这个就是我们要来竞选的最大的动力。第二，这个法令通过的时候，工人党也在国会，为什么没有发言和抗议呢？所以当宾尼的居民，你们必须要开你们雪亮眼睛，今天的工人党是不是像过去的工人党一模一样呢？现在的必担心在外面讲话很大声，进入国会像一只小猫一样，可是小猫还比它可爱。所以你们要开你们明亮的眼睛，注意看。接下来多一个课题，很多人说我们是单课题的一个党，一直讲疫苗，不是，因为这个是关于生死。如果你没有健康，你怎么做工？健康就是财富，你没有的做工，你哪里有收入？你没有收入，你的房贷怎样还？所以这些是很重要的。当然，我要快点的，就是解释一下，因为刚才讲时间不够，讲一下我们的一些政策，关于生活费上涨的。第一，就是说我们要把消费税调零，for 那个必需品 essential goods 重要的必需品调成0蛋。很多人会张大眼睛，这样政府不是没有钱哦？你们什么都要扣，要减掉啊？黄循财就会讲，现在我就跟黄循财讲，为什么？因为我有看那个报告 ，essential goods 在 GST tax collection 的时候 ，they don't play a significant amount， 就是说，其实他从这边的收入其实不是很大，真正收取很大的其实是那些大的，好像比如说房地产，它的 GST 就收的比较多，可是你的鱼啦、你的菜啦、你的葱啊， 算了，其实没有多少钱的，所以他免除这些 GST 零蛋，其实也对政府没有很大的伤害。可是对很多收入不够用的，还有那些退休人士是很大的帮助，直接减少他们的这个生活费。然后黄循才讲说上2%，其实真正不是上2%，你们会数学很好的，你们会知道，其实真正算法是27%，27%啊，不是2%。为什么呢？9减掉7除以7，是不是27%？对不对？那些比较厉害数学的，你们懂啊？哦，不懂的，接下来下来问我。还有多一个很重要的，就是说 ，for uncle auntie 阿公阿嬷热浪灾，安怎那个生活费上涨很多？因为我们不只是一个东西上涨，而是全部东西上。我用永豆腐来解释，你不可以买一片永豆腐，对吗？如果永豆腐起1毛，它不是起1毛，它是起6毛或7毛，对吗？因为最少你要买7件或8件。我们的生活包括了水、电、杂费、吃的、喝的，还有 transport 这些一起起，所以它虽然起2%，它不是起单样2%，全部东西都一起起，所以生活费上涨很多，很多人不了解这个，所以这个调成零蛋会帮很多居民，还有退休人士。第二就是生活那个医药服务，老人家、年轻人医药服务的这个消费税要调到0。为什么要调到0？因为不可以趁你病要你命，对不对？你生病了，你要还 GST， 这个成何体统？对，所以黄循财必须要把这个医药服务和医药的这个调成零蛋，然后会让我们的人民生活费比较低一点。多一个我要讲的就是 CPF Medisave， 就是你的健保储蓄，那个保健储蓄，很多年都没有调整。可是每年你的 CPF Medisave 一直要供。他说因为 medical inflation， 所以必须要升。可是当你需要用 Medisave 的钱，它不可以用了，它会限制。比如说我讲一个，你们知不知道癌症？刚才我的同事讲癌症一年你的 Medisave 可以用多少钱？癌症的服务还有癌症医药，你们猜一猜？5000、3000都错。一年虽然你的 Medisave 有很多钱，一年只可以用600块，就是说一个月50块。为什么我知道？我做理财的，这些数据很快我知道，而政府很多年都没有调整。比如说你们开刀都可以用多少你的 Medisave， 很多人也不知道。我在这行15年了，所以你的开刀 Double Surgical 7C 是最复杂的开刀手术，最多只能用7500、7700啊，7700。所以你有7万8万其实没有用的，你不可以用。当你需要的时候不可以。所以这些我们必须要进去国会，因为他们太懒了，每天你就是他们好或者不好，你都投 PPP。所以他们也不会去修改这些，也不管，所以直接就影响你们的生活费、你们的医药费。好，接下来我要把时间交给我的同事，
Okay. In Chinese we say, if we are good friends, right? 我帮你2倍插刀 right? I can do anything for you. Back got but this government, when the food price go up, what do you do? 他是不是2倍插刀？他不是插他自己的背，他插你们的背，拿2只刀插你的背，加2% GST. That is the government that you have. They are more afraid of their coffers do not have enough money rather than your cost of living going up. The next speaker, Taylor Thomas from Amokyo GRC.
Hi, good morning, Amokyo. Friends and family,
大家好，Selamat sejahtera tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Ini Tamil Makle. Vanakkam. Firstly, I would like to apologize if you are not able to reach out to everyone during our walkabout. Time is very scarce, and with the power and manpower and what we have, this is what we could conclude. So please bear with us. And when I say brother, what I actually mean is, when the button is pressed, it doesn't matter if you are Indian, Malay or Chinese, we will go to war together and we will fight for our country. And when we come back, we will leave no man behind. And that, Singaporeans, is what we are. We are Singaporeans first. Auntie, uncle, 现在我们是有很多问题我们要讲，因为试点我们没有试点啊，所以我们讲一点点早。Hi, I'm Thaddeus. I'm a Singaporean son. Just like most of y'all, my parents were also born in Singapore. I completed my national service in the army and I've spent 10 years on the reservists. Run up to this election, you have seen the promises made and the promises they are going to make to your constituencies. Firstly, let me tell you this. It is their duty to ensure that they man all HDB flats. It is also their duty to provide adequate bus stops and sheltered walkways. These are necessities. Why do we need to see this being posted on social media? You don't see the postman taking selfies at the letterbox, do you? If you ask me to tighten your belt, make sure you tighten your belt as well. Yes. Remember, you are supposed to build the bridge between us, not build the bridge and think you have done something for us. Is this why we voted you in the parliament in the first place? In our manifesto, we urge that all HR to be employed must be born and bred Singaporeans. It is very important why we say born and bred, because we happen to have citizens overnight. But does that make you a Singaporean? No. Speaking of leave, according to MOM, a work permit holder has 7 days of annual leave. How is it that the work permit holder and a Singaporean like you have the same amount of leave for 7 days? Is it enough? Singaporeans have been 7 days of annual leave since the independence in 1965. The question is, did anyone overlook this or did everyone look away from this? Our degree holders once graduated and after paying huge sums for their degrees, after taking loans, it is truly madness if you want them to accept a $2,500 salary. You know why? Because the Malaysian security guard at the same company is earning more than them. Yes. Our grads don't have the pleasure to look around and source for jobs. So what is the best thing? Immediately they can find to pay the bills and put food on the bread. Grab driver. But what do they tell you? They are very fast to tell you that we are choosy. Are we choosy or are we not treated fairly? We have lived here all our lives. We have seen our parents slog. Now we are slogging. And if you're not careful, our children will slog too. The Amokyo flats were built in the 1979s. We were only 43 years of age when it was due for cess. Residents, after fully paid for their flats, have to spend another 100,000 for that equal flats that they wish to purchase from the government. At 60 years old, will you be able to get a HDB loan and start working again? No. Is this fair for you? Is this what we mean by stable economy? No. For those who have been saying that you have been serving the community with your heart, we have seen so many. Singaporeans in 2024, 1.5 million vouchers were given to Singaporeans. They are not earning more than $2,600. This gives you an idea of how robust and thriving our nation is. Is this the track record they were talking about? Growing up, we hear stories of how fortunate, good education and a stable economy we all have in Singapore. We spend thousands of dollars on our children for their tuition, to get A's in the PSLE, to get their degree. In the end of the day, who becomes your manager? The dude across the causeway. Is he more educated than you? I don't think so. Did he spend as much as you did? Definitely not. So what is the worth of your degree is the question at the end of the day. Dear Singaporeans, I got 6 pages to rant, but at the same time, we are very short of time. I have a few more younger speakers I would like to give, because remember, your vote that you do today is not what was done for you in the past, but it's for the future generation, the young Singaporeans. Please vote for the PPP.
Thank you, leaders. Remember, you are voting for yourself. You are not voting for me. I am just your tool. We are all just your tool. You are voting for yourself. You are not voting for us. If you think that we make sense to bring all these issues into Parliament for your interest, vote for PPP, Pun PP. Right? The next is our Singapore son, right? Son that is going to contest Singapore. Samuel Lee, we have talked about it, right?
Okay, I will address to everyone in Mandarin today. Okay, 各位大家晚上好，我是李玉如，感谢大家百忙之中抽空前来参与我们的群众大会。今天我想讲的课题呢，是关于年轻人的心声、就业。根据那个教育部的统计数据，那个叫做毕业生职场调查 （Graduate Employment Survey）， 截至去年2024年11月，我发现到就是说，那个电脑的相关的科技行业，那个毕业生，其实里面呢，那个就是说没有找到任何就业的，每10个毕业生中，你们知道有多少个人找不到工作吗？就是没有那个 full-time employment 的，超过1个。而且这个是在于那些有答复调查卷的人，还有很多人平均在各行各业那个专科不同的，平均大概有1/4的人不回答。他们真实情况是怎样的，我们也不得而知。所以我想要大家明白这个问题，就是说现在的就业情况非常困难。不过在那个电脑行业之中，我个人觉得做那个 information security 的信息安全的会比较好一点，会比较好一点。为什么？因为呢，信息安全的行业呢，有相当可观的是在于那个政府部门的工作啊，它的就是说帮那些不同政府部门部署它的电脑啊这些的。什么意思呢？就是说里面的那些同事呢，一般上是需要是本土的新加坡公民，或者最起码是永久居民。相对来说，就是比起其他的行业啊，那比其他的门槛呢是比较少外国人竞争啊，所以这一个方向是值得考虑的。也确实，那你们上网去找那个 GES 的话，你们可以自己看出那个数据，因为现在时间不够了，不是来在边念 4D 号码。好，那 OK， 那但是呢，我值得注意的是 ，OK， 现在最多人觉得什么是最热门的行业呢？在电脑界就是那个 AI 啊，人工智能。可是我发现到说，毕业后 他们的那个数据显示，他们回复说只有76%找到那种全职永久的，就是稳定的工作，就是直接就是 employed by under 的 company， 但是它有一些呢，这76%中也包含那些属于那种 contract more than 1 year 合约的那个期超过1年的，反正就是说政府觉得这1年你已经包有职业了，所以呢叫做一个稳定的工作。所以真实情况是那些真正不是以那种人头的那种合约制，就是要讲呢，就是说你的工作只是知道说只能包在一段期间，那没有那个明确的升职的那个路，那不知道要怎样做才可以慢慢的从初级的职员慢慢升到好像队长、经理，那你不知道，但是你就是再找一份合约完了再找另一份。那 AI 的竟然只有76%，其他的大概有80多%。那所以其实 AI 讲到多好，但是呢，那个职业的那个前景啊 ，career prospect 呢，也没有想象中的那么完美。当然，你们觉得说 IT 是最惨的吗？其实不是。根据那个同样的 GES 的报告啊 ，NUS 和 NTU 的那个国立大学啊、南洋理工大学啊，有些到那个专领域我有看到啊，土木工程。还有那个生物医药的 Civil Engineering and Biomedical， 它的数据也不是很好看。当然，各行各业有他们的问题，就像我们的同僚所说的，第一件事情，我们要就是确保那个人事部那个 HR 必须是土生土长新加坡人，因为实在的这类的行业呢，没有那个说要有什么特殊的技能啊 ，there is no justification。所以，像他们已经之前讲了，所以我不要再重复啊。OK， 然后我是觉得说还有别的课题要讲的，然后想要再补充的，就是说，刚才我的同僚也是讲了那健保双全啊，那个 Medishield 啊，要怎样降低那个保费，那就是说。所有的那些现在的那些外籍人士，那他们都是其实是有保险的，他们进来这边无论是读书、就业，都是要自己购买那种私人保险，保意外、保住院。所以呢，我是觉得政府应该拿出当年的政治魄力，当年政府看到的就是60年代看到的是住屋问题。他们用那个土地征收法 （Land Acquisition Act） 把私人的土地强行收回来，然后再去建政府主屋建 HDB， 给人家一个那有负担得起的住屋。我们也可以用同样的道理，有那个政治魄力呢，把那些现有的保险的那些单子啊，从那些私人业者拿回来，政府经营的那。外国人也是得买同样政府的 Medishield 的保险，所以这些怎么理赔的过程跟本地人完全一样，只是他不需要终身再还，因为他们不是本地公民，一旦没有就业，一旦没有那个就是亲属关系那种需要留在新加坡的正当理由的情况下，他们自然会回去，就不需要再买我们的保险了。这同样的逻辑，很简单可以操作的事情。只要他们愿意拿出那个政治魄力出来，很多事情是可以办的。因为他们每次喜欢讲，请人民给他一个强有力的政府，给他们一个 strong government， 但是没有那个 strong political will。What's the point？ 但是时间不够了，我觉得我需要让我接下来同僚啊、战友，那让他们发言。谢谢，感谢大家。
Thank you, Samuel. He was cyberbullied.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But does he deserve to be bullied? And I can tell you, before I met him, I actually meet a lot of people who are ex-convict or ex-inmate. They give me very, very sad stories. They cannot find jobs in Singapore. They are being discriminated. No, because they have to declare for petty crimes they have been convicted. But these are our Singaporean sons and daughters. And when people find out about him, I already know. I already know he's coming. In Singapore, government know everything and the media will know. Right? I'm prepared for this. I'm prepared. I actually have to beg him to stand for election. You know why? He took the courage because he knew what is coming. He knew what he's going to face. Cyberbullying and the reputational damage. But what for? For his industry, for his fellow colleagues, Singaporean colleagues. He cannot find a job right now, definitely. After this one, I do not know. Right? Hopefully he find a job in Parliament. He's a very diligent guy. It's just that he made a mistake in life. He doesn't deserve to be scrutinized in such a way by our opponents. And I assure you, if he's voted into Parliament, he will fight for the rights of the ex-convict and the ex-inmate. The record should not stay for life. Right? What is a yellow ribbon without a second chance? The next candidate for Ang-Mo-Kio, last candidate for Ang-Mo-Kio is Mr. Heng Zhen-Tao, the youngest candidate in our team, 24 years old.
大家晚上好，我是王正道。这次我们人民力量党会在宏茂桥这里竞选。我在本身小时候在后港住过八巷那里，但是这次我变成了一个宏茂桥集选区里面曾经的居民。虽然后港和宏茂桥听起来像两个地方，但这次被划分成同一个地方。我以前在这里住过，我也在宏茂桥帮宏茂桥的居民看过他们家里的问题，他们需要修理马桶，需要装修新的灯和风扇，我本自下去帮忙他们修理过。我上次在丹奔尼的演讲中讲到我们未来的问题，而我为什么这么年轻要站在这里为人民服务，只有4个字：逼不得已。我在我这么小的年龄，我听我们部长讲的话，他们说起 GRC 是好事，你们敢相信这个是现在的部长说的话吗？宏茂桥的居民们，你们这次投票投的是未来5年的票。我在上个演讲中说，你们可以嘲笑 Samu， 他现在找不到工作，他现在唱的歌的原因是他的心声，他找不到工作的难处。你们笑他 look left look right， 5年后你们 look behind。5年后，如果电动车上市场，还有 Grab driver 给你们驾，还有 taxi driver 给你们驾吗？
不用5年后。
不用5年后，对。
不用。
我本身是管理工人的，我跟你讲，我管理工人时很多头痛，人带来的头痛不好面对的。我们要管工人是个大问题。如果一天老板有机会选机器人来代替你，你们敢想象未来5年你们还有工作做吗？
没有。
现在我在我工作做，看到的是机器人已经代理 cleaner 清洁工人的位置了，已经有机器清洁工人了。5年后，你们想象未来会是什么？我虽然只是24岁，我竞选 这次想告诉你们，未来5年，人民比较重要还是机器人比较重要？人民或机器人，最后的考虑是你们要能过日子，你们要能够承担得起，对不对？我本身有个故事，但是我不能说的明明白白，我只能告诉你另外一个故事，不然会被 boss 骂的。这一个人当兵时，以前和他朋友想 sign on， 他这个朋友因为手上有个 tattoo， 他跟他前女友有个 love shape， 他laser不掉，所以警察就说你不能当full time，不能当 regular， 他们拒绝了他。这是这个人的朋友的故事，为了一个小 tattoo 而已，想为国服务。这人本身的故事也想 sign on， 但是这2年里，他进去里面当兵的时候，改变了他看法。那时候，这位人当兵时不想打针，有人在他当兵时的威胁他说：“你不打针，你进去坐牢，我们在牢里见。”这是这个人的故事。他们还能嘲笑这个人，下个礼拜在牢里见。真的必要打吗？这是关于权利和自由的问题。能发生在这个人的身上的事情，过来后你们当兵，你们孩子当兵，还会发生在他们身上吗？未来5年里，机器变化会影响我们个人的生活。现在已经有人在世界里想把人们放的大脑里放一个 chip， 他们跟你说可以连接到互联网的世界。你想想，如果全部都是强制性的，你们有自由吗？没有。我本身喜欢大自然，我读的职业是植物设计和植物科学 （Landscape Design Horticulture）。我相信人们应该有选择，自然和机器里应该有个平衡。从这个出发点开始，你们未来5年的这个票是你们的自由，你们选的政府应该代表你们人民的心声，应该以人为本，不应该全部都是强制性的。然后未来5年里，政府会说他们想看看能不能建一个核污站 （nuclear power plant）。你觉得他们这个考虑对我们人民是否很安全？我们看看 Chernobyl 一次过的失误，就对整个岛民和人民带来的伤害。未来5年里，他们想建一个核污弹，跟你说想创造电，这一个会影响我们人民的生活吗？现在 MRT 他们都管理不好，他们还想建一个核污站，什么道理来的？我能了解，我深刻去读他们想建核污站的想法。当然他们有他们的理由，但是 MRT system 已经在 break down 了，你不想处理这个问题，然后又要想建一个核污站，你觉得有道理吗？一次小失误在核污站啊，我们几百万人民啊，你们的性命是在那个线上的。还不用说，万一新加坡和哪个国家起冲突呢？这个核污站是否利与弊，哪一个比较大？这一个你们应该深刻考虑。 然后我们以前有很多几件事情 ，NRIC 有问题，我们 medical record 新 health 也有问题。未来5年里，你们应该关心的是，政府怎么能保持我们的私人隐私？怎么会防范黑客来盗取我们的资料？这些问题会影响到我们未来5年，因为 Fourth Industrial Revolution 已经来临了。现在失业率已经蛮高了。如果政府不能在未来5年里确保人民安全，能找到工作，消费钱能降低，未来5年里，我身为20多岁的人，我看得到未来吗？我还能把这个当成一个家吗？由于时间的关系，我最后讲几句话。之前唐朝里有一个很著名的人叫刘伯温，朱元璋要去世的时候，他告诉朱元璋的子孙们：“江山易得，子孙难守。”他认为开国容易，守城很难，必须要勤政爱民，才能让大明基业长久。这是他告诉大明的皇帝的每一句话，应该爱民而以人为本。你们想想，你们这一票投给这些现在的 ministers， 他们真的会以人为本吗？不会。他们可以跟我说 cotton come from sheep， 可以拿面来比喻，可以说 GST 是好事。我20多岁的人，我都在想他们是怎么说出这样的话的。可笑不可笑？可笑。最后，刘伯温还说：“天下已定，当以道德教化为先，法令刑罚为辅，非徒以兵革为天下也。”这句话的意思是，我们应该叫我们未来的新加坡人，还有现在的新加坡人，以道德为本，为人民的道德做基业。不然改次那个 AI 会觉得我们人是世界上的一个问题，想把我们铲除掉，这是个很可怕的想法。法令应该是以帮助人民的，这是他所说的话。我希望你们能对你们这次投的票有慎重的考虑，考虑到5年后未来为你们的生活所带来的影响。感谢你们，谢谢。
谢谢申导。If they cannot manage MRT, always a breakdown, do you think they can manage a nuclear plant? Do you have confidence? I don't have. And they spend $5 billion before even build a single thing on that land, just for research only. That is how they spend money, and that's why they want to tax us with more GST. We are not pigs and chicken in the coop, that they can force anything on us by jabbing us without our consent. And this is what we are against. The next speaker, the last speaker, Viranathan.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Sorry, I don't like to stand behind something because I want to talk to all of you up front. And I think that the government is only the government when it's in touch with the people, not standing or hiding behind anything. So I just want to be open here in front of all of you. First of all, thank you again so much to each and every one of you who are standing here. It's been almost 3 hours. I know that you are tired. Whoever's sitting there, standing here, thank you again for coming. Again, I didn't really prepare anything specific to say, but I just want to share from my heart. I think all of you know right now, Singapore is at a crossroad. The winds of change are blowing all throughout the land in a way that has never ever been in our history. All of you here and all of you watching online, you have a very important thing to do this month. When you choose who is going to lead, who is going to be in charge, who is going to take Singapore forward for the next 5 years, it is up to each of you. One of the things I noticed when I did the walkabouts, when I talked to people, when I asked them what's on their heart, is that there's this sense of cynicism. There's this sense of resignation, especially among the young people. I think there were a lot of y'all here just now. A lot of them have left. It's okay. The young people feel that there's nothing they can do about the situation in Singapore. And that is tragic. It's tragic because if we as young people can't take responsibility for this place that we call our home, then who else is going to do it? No one else is going to do it. Not the people from overseas who come here to work. Not our parents who are already done their duty. Us, we have to do it. And if we don't, then someone else who's not from here, who didn't work for this place, someone else will do it. Is that what you want? Good. So the thing that I want to leave all of you with is one word: values. Values and beliefs are what the nation and the governance is built on. What do I mean? All of the policy, any policy, comes from the values that the government holds. So you need to ask yourself, when you vote, what are your values? And what are the values of the people you are voting for? You just look one time across what is in Singapore today. And I use the vaccine mandate, the Infectious Disease Act, as a prime example of the attitude that the PAP has towards Singaporeans, the citizens. It is one that sacrifices the individual for the sake of the state. That's the value. That as long as Singapore carries on, it doesn't matter who gets hurt. You can be left behind. The citizens are expendable so long as we all move forward. I personally find that unacceptable. Yes. I believe, like what Thaddeus said just now, no one gets left behind. That's what I believe in. And if we have a government that doesn't believe that, then you can't trust them to have your back when the crisis strikes. Yes. If you can't trust the government and the leadership to have you in times of trouble, then all is lost. The people will lose their heart. Their spirits will be broken. We will not be able to stand united. This is my main point. This is why the People's Power Party is championing not just for all the different policies, but for truth and trust to come back between the people and the government. Woo! I think a lot of you are also here because you know that there's something wrong with this mRNA vaccine. I think Martin, he did a good job explaining it just now. But I just want to ask a few questions, since I cannot make any statements. Why is it that no other alternative vaccine was presented to us when in 2022 they already knew, it was published publicly, that the mRNA vaccine cause an increased chance and risk of heart disease among our young people. Why? Why is it that when the people ask the FDA to release the documents on these vaccines, that a 55-year timeline was given, that they would release the data 55 years later? Why is that? Why do you think that there are six vaccine factories in Singapore, and that the government spent over $2 billion to build them? Ask yourself. It's not about conspiracy. I want you guys to think. So often in Singapore, we are too busy working, we're too busy making a living and scraping our lives together that we don't have time to think. So we let the government think for us because we trust them, because we believe that they have our best interests in mind. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. So we need to do that now. All of us have to take responsibility and think. Think with me. Why is it like this? What is happening? What should be done? What shouldn't be done? And after you have thought and understood and decided, you must make your voice heard loud and clear. You have to do it. All I can do is stand here and talk to you guys. The platform is here for you to share and raise your voice. That's all we can do, is provide a channel. But in the end, you have to speak up. You have to cast your vote. You have to decide for yourself, what do you want? Because this choice will affect not just you, but it will affect everyone in Singapore and our future generations. The children, your children's children. You have to ask yourself, in 20 years, can you look at your children in the eye and say that I did everything I could to safeguard your future? You have to ask yourself. I know that I'm standing here because I'm not going to go down looking in the mirror one day saying that, oh, I didn't do anything. I'm not going to let that happen. When I stand here just now when I was sitting down looking at all of you, I'm reminded once again why I'm doing this. It's for each and every Singaporean. Because it's about you, it's about us. In the end, all we have is each other. Singapore, you've heard this a million times. Singapore is a small island with not many natural resources, right? Surrounded by water. You already know this story. All we have is one another. All we have is this community. If we lose that, then all is lost. Now I know you all have been standing here a long time. I don't want to take up too much time. But just remember this. I will leave you with this. When you vote, vote for the values that you believe in. And that these values are demonstrated by the people you are voting for. Not just talked about. There's a lot of talk. And the next 5 days until election day, there's going to be more talk. But you ask yourself, who has demonstrated those values? When the pandemic was in full force in 2020, 2021, 2022, who spoke up? Who was brave enough to stand on what they believe in? I know one person, it was Goh Meng Sing. A lot of people kept quiet, including the opposition that was already in the parliament. They kept silent. So you ask yourself, who demonstrated these values? And then you decide. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sen Li. We have two guys, young guys. One is called Zheng Dao. The other called Sen Li. Together, Zheng Dao Bi Sen Li. Right. Now, we are thinking whether we should have another rally or another two rally. We cannot do it without funding. Right? With your generosity, we hope that we can have another rally. Right? You can go to the table over there, donate some money, and take some flags if you want, or Thank you. And a copy of our manifesto. There's a lot of things in the manifesto where I have not touched yet. I hope I can see you in the next rally, so can we go through it again. Alright? Thank you tonight. And don't forget, we need a lot of polling agent and counting agent, especially counting agent. If you want to sign up, go to my website, People's Power Party website, as well as my Facebook page. I will post again. Sign up for the counting agent especially. Thank you and good night.
Itu